The South Today Bulletin, proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Tonight on the South Today, wild weather continues to ravage the south, causing major flooding and slips across southern regions. A protest has started in Southland as a convoy of tractors get ready to make the journey up north. And Otago rangitahi get in touch with their roots, finding their voice at a national Māori speech competition. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Hannah Wilkins. The extreme weather down south continues, with Queenstown now in a state of emergency. Torrential rainfall overnight caused a number of slips and floods in the resort town, threatening a number of homes, forcing some residents to evacuate.
Queenstown was put into a state of emergency early Friday morning after a month's worth of rain came down overnight. Over 100 people have been evacuated from the streets surrounding the Skyline gondola after a mudslip caused by the wettest day in over 20 years came through the cable car's corridor in the middle of the night. Large logs and mud made its way down Upper Brecken Street and into the township, leaving evacuees worried about the damage done to their homes.
Yes, I'm just worried about
all our stuff,
devices and all my stuff. And
we just leave everything there.
We have been in town like for a long time, so our lives is pretty much here. So.
Yeah.
The heavy rain also caused a large slip along 1 Mile and Glenorchy Road, with travellers being asked to detour up along Fern Hill. Clean-up operations are underway in the resort town, with the help of emergency services, Alliance, Downer and Skyline staff.
Yeah, there's an extensive amount of work to be done there, but we've come up with a plan with the help of Skyline contractors and the technical engineers. So we'll probably kick that into action this afternoon, but Brecken Street, that'll probably be a progressive as we move up.
The state of emergency is set to last for a week, and the Queenstown Lakes District Council are asking residents to avoid non-essential travel through the CBD. In Queenstown, the South Today.
And Queenstown's not the only area in strife, with heavy rain and flood warnings also battering a number of southern regions. Southland still remains in a state of emergency after a month's worth of rain came down in Gore yesterday, which prompted local residents to evacuate. There's still significant surface flooding across the region's farmland, with 10 local roads closed off to traffic, along with State Highway 1 from Gore to Matoda. Flood warnings and high river watches continue across Southland. However, the Matoda River stop banks are expected to cope with the rising water levels. The fierce weather has also made its way to parts of central Otago, with the District Council issuing conserve water notices for Omako and Naseby as flooding is expected. And festivities were cancelled for Friday's Blossom Festival events in Alexandra, but organisers seem confident the Grand Parade will still go ahead on Saturday. A nationwide campaign is giving rural farmers the chance to voice their concerns against some government regulations. Members of the Groundswell NZ group took their tractors to the streets in Invercargill today, setting off on a country-long protest.
A large convoy of tractors starting out their journey of the country, hoping for better working conditions for farmers. Groundswell NZ members made their way to Invercargill on Friday, taking off on their 1,800 kilometre trek to Auckland, protesting against unfair regulations. Group co-founder Bryce McKenzie and Laurie Patterson feel rural communities don't receive much support from the government, believing they impose unworkable rules on food producers.
There's absolutely no way that rural New Zealand can stand 3 more years of this. We want people to be thinking carefully about what they do.
They believe farmers are being ignored by the government, feeling financial struggles are getting worse for the agriculture sector. The advocacy group is inviting supporters to join them on the streets as they pass through various towns and cities on their protest.
Rural people in general haven't been listened to at all. There's been a lot of feedback, we've done a lot of submissions, there's just been no notice whatsoever.
The tractor convoy will continue their journey across the country late into next week. as they look to arrive in Auckland's Ellerslie Racecourse by the start of October. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Repair work is now underway for a multi-million-dollar extension to Christchurch's Tram route following its derailing just 6 months after opening.
Getting the tram back on track. Work is well underway to replace a section of this track, following the derailment of a tram at the start of the year. The brand new 500-metre High Street extension loop opened to great fanfare in June last year, but since the derailment, trams have had to make their stops on Manchester Street. An investigation by the Christchurch City Council found that the incident on the $3.6 million track was the result of several contributing factors. The council says costs will be covered by the contractor under the defects liability period. The Garden City's 2.5-kilometre Central City Loop opened in 1995, which has always proved popular with tourists. The work is being done in tandem with a $9 million upgrade of High Street in an effort to make the area more attractive and people-friendly. Repair work started earlier this month and is expected to be completed by the end of October, just in time for the busy tourist season. In Christchurch, the South Today.
More than 300 electrical line mechanics and cable joiners were on the tools in Invercargill recently, but it wasn't down to a citywide power cut.
Around 350 of the nation's top electrical and telecommunications trainees are laying down the challenge, going head-to-head in the Connexus annual connection competition. The Sparkies are showing off their daily skills, from deconstructing power lines to binding conductors. Businesses from around the country are taking part in the 3-day contest, with organisers hoping the event brings in some new workers.
There's a move towards decarbonising and electrifying the economy. That means we're going to need a lot more people in the industry. So by 2050, it's forecast that we'll be needing twice as much power as we do today.
The competition will finish up with the Industry Excellence Awards this evening. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Dunedin's Edgar Centre was filled with passionate young speakers yesterday, taking part in what's regarded as one of the most significant events in Māori education. Now, Manu, Kōrero brought hundreds of rangitahi together from across the country, with speakers tapping into their cultural roots.
Taking centre stage, speaking with confidence, highlighting the importance of te reo Māori. 60 high school students from across Aotearoa made their way to Dunedin on Thursday for the Ngā Manu Kōrero National Speech Competition. 4 Otago teams entered the popular cultural event, which was held at the Edgar Centre. Otago homeschool student Te Ataro Cassidy placed 3rd in the senior te reo Māori section for his speech on climate change.
I think climate change is a big thing for everyone, for the whole planet, because if we don't fix it, then we're all screwed.
The secondary school speech competition consists of both junior and senior sections in te reo and English, with students speaking on topics that hold importance to them.
I chose being unapologetically Māori. It's a strong topic for me. I believe I am unapologetic Māori.
The competition gives students an opportunity to have their voice be heard, while also improving their assurance in themselves on stage.
In a general confidence sense, I competed in Manu Kōrero. I spoke in front of all of these people, and all these people watched it on the live stream and everything, and you just feel more centred in yourself, I guess. Yeah.
Winners of the competition got to take home traditional taonga, highlighting the powerful role of te reo Māori and the lives of rangatahi. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whai Yakane still to come on the South Today. A Southland handball star casts the net on the hunt for some new talent, and Central Otago's finest young viticulturalists put their winemaking skills to the test.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
You're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer. You owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Aero, used by Australia's top bowlers with their unique Z-scoop grip that redefines the game. Machined with robotics for unparalleled accuracy, Aero, same line, every time.
That's the sound of prices being slashed in My Mate John's Price Attack! He's cut 20% off rugs and mirrors. There's 30 off bedsides and tall boys, 32 off TV units and lamp tables, and a whopping 45% off king beds. Plus tons more in store now. Price Attack! Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, and online at mymatejohn.co.nz.
Furniture from Stafford Street and My Mate John.
Here at Age Concern Otago, we offer a range of services to support Otago seniors to age well with dignity and independence. We provide social work support, visiting service, health promotion and social activities. Check out what we have on offer at ageconcernotago.com.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Southland's only New Zealand men's handball player is on the lookout for some future talents, hoping to grow the sport in the region. The national team athlete is taking matters into his own hands, calling for people to join him on the court for a public open day.
Aston Lang shooting his shot, hoping to grow the sport of handball in the Southland region. The left back is hosting a handball open day at the ILT Stadium in Invercargill on Saturday, looking to attract some young athletes. Lang says handball gives people who don't play traditional sports like rugby, football or basketball a new outlet to get involved with.
Sharing handball with Southland is about introducing a new sport with a new culture that we can decide on, and being able to just share the enthusiasm, the passion and the pride that comes with it.
He's helped many young players from the Otago Handball High School League grow, with some even progressing to play for the national team. Lang's proud of being the only Southlander to be a part of the New Zealand squad and hopes to inspire the youth to take up the sport.
I think it's really important that with new sport in Southland, that there is someone representing the region on the national level and the international level, and actually there does exist a pathway to becoming an international representative for New Zealand in this sport.
Lang's hoping the Handball Open Day will not only attract more people towards the sport, but also raise money for his team to compete at the Asian Handball Championships in January next year. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Central Otago's finest young viticulturalists didn't let the raging weather dampen their moods yesterday as they put their winemaking skills to the test. The annual Central Otago Young Winemakers helps pop the cork on up-and-coming careers, the competition heating up for a spot in the Nationals.
Rolling out the wine barrels as these viticulturists adapt their strategies against Cromwell's rainy weather. This annual Central Otago Young Winemakers competition was held on Thursday, testing participants in all things winemaking, including general knowledge, lab skills and essay writing. Event coordinator Nikki Grandorge says contestants gave it their all, with the 5 up-and-comers impressing the judges with their skills and professional attitude.
It gives the young winemakers or the emerging winemakers the opportunity to make a name for themselves. It's a chance for them to share their ideas and views with senior members of the industry.
Grandorge says the competition is a great way for the young winemakers to network with other people in the industry, giving them the opportunity to make a name for themselves.
For Central, it's just great to see that next generation coming up through the ranks. We've got a few different wineries represented here today.
Amersfield's winery Aliana Leal competed in the competition for the second time, coming in prepared, studying for several weeks leading up to the event.
You always try to prepare and you never get 100% prepared for it, but the best thing is just to enjoy it and just challenge yourself.
Leal's preparation for the competition proved significant, with the 29-year-old taking out the competition. The win has earned her a spot in the National Young Winemaker of the Year final, where she'll be representing Central Otago in Waipara late next month. In Cromwell, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Flooding has hit regions across the south, causing a state of emergency in both Southland and Queenstown. A convoy of tractors took to the streets of Invercargill as Groundswell protesters take their cause across the country. And rangitahi from across the country took centre stage in Dunedin, proudly representing their culture at the Manu Kōrero National Speech Competition. And now we'll look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome Associate Editor Mike Houlihan. Hello Mike.
Evening Hannah.
What can we expect to read in the weekend paper?
Comprehensive coverage of your lead story about the floods in Queenstown and Southland. We've had photographers and reporters out in both those provinces.
You yourself was in Invercargill?
Yes, managed to get through before the flooding, fortunately.
Lucky.
And you can read all about that tomorrow too in the Southern Say column. There'll be an account of Christopher Luxon, the National Party leader's trip to Invercargill.
Right, okay.
We've also got news of refusal of an attempt to put a reductive farm into forestry, which is possibly a groundbreaking decision.
Okay.
And the weekend mix, of course, with plenty of good reading to keep you occupied for the weekend.
Sounds lovely. All right, thank you for sharing this evening, Mike. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too, thank you.
Time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, well, lighter easterly winds are on the way through here early next week, but another cold, rainy outbreak is lining up nearer to the weekend. Heading up to the top of the South Island. Heavy rain with changing winds and a high of 15 in Nelson. Greymouth gets nor'easterlies with showers and 14 degrees. And wrap up warm in Christchurch as there'll be southerlies, showers and just 10 degrees tomorrow. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago. A few showers are due in Ashburton tomorrow with southerlies and 10. Timaru heads for that same high, but it'll be dry with easterlies and cloudy skies. And to Oamaru, it's looking overcast with fresh winds and a high of 9 degrees. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes. Light winds, but otherwise fine through here to start the weekend. Both Queenstown and Wanaka get to 13 degrees, with Alexandra just behind on 12 tomorrow. Heading further south, nice and fine through here with light winds and highs of 13 degrees in Gore and Balclutha, and a cloudy 9 over in the Catlins. Across to Invercargill, becoming fine tonight and down to just 1. The weekend looks fine and sunny with easterlies and high cloud at times. Saturday's high will be 12 degrees, then Sunday warms up to 15. And finally heading to Dunedin. Showers will clear tonight as the temperature drops to 5. Then both Saturday and Sunday start quite fresh with nor'easterlies and remain cool most of the day, reaching highs of 9 degrees. And that's the news this Friday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. You can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. And you can also follow us on Facebook. Just search for The South Today NZ to see our favourite stories from around the regions. And don't forget to put your clocks forward an hour tomorrow for daylight savings. And we'll see you again next week. Mā te wā.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.